Hey everybody, welcome to my video. This is Tori Lockhart here to tell you about my tentative assessment. So the date of my interview took place on January 29th, 1999 from 2:30 p.m. until 2:57. It was done by me, Tori Lockhart, and the person interviewed was Samantha Canada. Her date of birth is April 6, 1973, and so she was 26 at the time of this interview. Her place of residence is County Road 23, Perry County, Kentucky, where she lives with her mom and dad, Eveline and Bobby Stepp. Her home phone is 606-555-0321. This number is shared with the entire extended family, so it is hard to get in contact with her. She's unemployed, so she also doesn't have a business phone. Let's see, she was referred to us by her mother, Eveline Stepp. And a little bit about Samantha for her person system. She prefers to be addressed as Samantha. She is about 5'5", medium build, and on the day of the interview, she seemed to be well groomed. She was just wearing a t-shirt and blue jeans. She did, however, seem to have bags around her eyes. The way she moved, she seemed kind of tired. Despite this, she spoke fluently and confidently. She didn't hold any information back. She seemed pretty open. She also spoke with the same dialect that was common for her area. Let's see. So as I stated, she lives with her mom and dad. The rest of her extended family live super close, probably within walking distance. Samantha was previously married to Jody Canada. Together, they had the 2 children and lived in a trailer in Perry County. Jody became abusive towards Samantha, and she made several visits to the hospital and domestic violence shelters. Some things that Jody did was he tied her up in a curtain and set the curtain on fire, and then he hit her daily, pushed her daily, emotionally abused her, and then what finally kind of drew the line for her, as she stated, was he tried to run her over in his truck, and then he also had the 2 kids in the car with him. So after that, that's when she tried to seek help. Samantha has a very strong support system. It's probably her biggest strength. Her family is huge, and they have a great emotional support for her. However, they don't really give her any support for finding professional help besides her mother. Her mother was the one who contacted us, but besides that, everybody else was only there for her emotionally. Let's see. So a little bit more about her risk factors in her situation. So she was abused. So her biggest risk factor at the moment is more physical abuse. She does occasionally see Jody, not on purpose, but he does show up sometimes. As you all saw in the video, he showed up to their Labor Day party unannounced, where while he was there, he pushed her down and spit on her, made her feel very just very poorly about herself. It was very demeaning. And let's see, another risk factor for Samantha is the emotions that she still has towards Jody. She still has feelings for him. They were married for 7 years, and he was her first love, as she says. So it has been very hard for her to get over him emotionally. And she did state during the interview that she would go back to him if it weren't for the kids, which is very concerning. So overall, Samantha did seem very caring and loving. She thinks the best in people, which could be a contributing factor to why it was hard for her to leave Jody. Let's see. Before she married Jody, she did have several interests and hobbies. She loved quilting. She would often quilt with Eveline and Irie. She also loved gardening and growing flowers. That was her biggest hobby, her greatest interest was growing flowers and vegetables in her garden. She found it very therapeutic. She also would help Irie work on laundry and cook dinner for the family. But once she met Jody, she stopped coming around, is how she said it. But since she's been with Jody and since she's gone through the divorce and everything with the kids, she's trying to work on her kids' happiness. She said that she feels guilty anytime she tries to do something for herself. She takes the blame for putting her kids in that situation. She feels as though it's her fault. So right now she's only focusing on their happiness and what is best for them. So primarily she sees herself as a mother than anything else. A little bit about her community. They're very tight-knit. She mostly socializes with her family, and when they do socialize, they mostly just talk about each other, how everybody's doing. There's a lot of gossiping. They reminisce on old memories. So she did say it does get a little repetitive, and that she would like to find some more social outlets. Let's see. Overall, Samantha and the Bowling family in general seem to have the bare minimum for survival. Samantha and Pauline have the only houses with running water within the entire extended family. The entire family shares one car and one phone, so transportation and communication is kind of difficult for them. Although Samantha seemed pretty nervous during the interview, she seemed really motivated to find a way to give her children a sense of stability and to officially cut ties with her husband. So in the beginning of the interview, Samantha stated that before she married Jody, she was tough-skinned, but whenever they got married, Jody found all her weaknesses and fed off of them. So now that the divorce has been finalized, she's beginning to feel more like herself. She's spending more time with her kids, and just becoming the person that she used to be. That's what she said. So now that she feels more like herself, she's ready to take the first steps that are needed in order to heal her mentally from her abuse. She acknowledged that her attachment to Jody is unhealthy, which is a huge step. She also stated that she's interested in finding a job in town, though she's worried about transportation. Let's see. So back to her family a little bit. They were incredibly supportive for her emotionally during her divorce and abuse with Jody. However, they do not encourage her to work or make her own income. Where they're from, Samantha said that the women don't normally work. They stay at home and take care of the kids. So she's been struggling to find work herself. And her family, that's not what they're used to, so they haven't been able to help her very much with that part. But despite all this, she feels that having her own income would benefit her and her daughters in the long run, and that she's very excited to get started.